Hi there, I'm Ann Mostue. I'm a reporter here at WGBH. We are 5 weeks from Boston's preliminary mayoral election, September 24th. There are 12 candidates in the race. There will be 2 after that date. We're doing a weekly web series here to talk about the race, and with me is Peter Kadzis of WGBH and David Bernstein of WGBH and Boston Magazine. So last week you two predicted that there would be a big debate this week over outside funding. What do you think the next big point of contention is going to be in the race?
I don't know whether it's going to be this week, but I can see if some of the candidates in the teachers union aren't careful, I could see the election turning sort of nasty and having public employee unions in general and the teachers union specifically becoming an issue in the race. Not sure, but it's a possibility.
I definitely think that could be. I know that the Boston Teachers Union is really considering their potential endorsement right now, which could be coming any time. Just as a sort of combination disclosure and self-promotion, I'm going to be moderating the BTU mayoral debate in a couple of weeks. If a lot may depend on what they do. If the Boston Teachers Union endorses Marty Walsh, for instance, sort of solidifying him as the labor candidate, that's going to make him an easy target, and I think that Peter's right, that's going to be an opening for others to start to come after him. On the other hand, if, say, a Rob Consalvo gets that endorsement, that could really boost him up. Or if a Felix Arroyo gets that endorsement, that's going to be a help. But the schools are always a point of contention, and the union aspect of it is going to be one for sure.
That would boost those two candidates. But the electorate is sort of in pods. It's not so much that it's divided, but progressives in general either are favorable towards the teachers union or aren't negative. Parents, if you have kids in the Boston public schools, the odds are you don't have warm and fuzzy feelings about the teachers union. Now, I'm not talking about the merits of either case, but those are sort of two general pods, and I think the teachers union wants to be careful they don't electrify those pods, let them loose.
Yeah. Well, speaking of debate, the candidates have been very civilized so far. What are you anticipating in the coming weeks in terms of the tenor and the tone of the debates and the forums?
Well, I think we probably got a little preview of that in the last couple of days in the tenor of the public discussion about this outside spending aspect. Yeah. As we get further along, as it becomes clearer to the candidates and their campaigns who their main competitors are, who do I need to knock down to get into one of those 2 spots in the final, I think you're going to see a lot more pointed disagreements in those forums.
Yeah, I got to tell you, at the forum that WGBH hosted right downstairs several weeks ago, after it was all over, Mike Ross and John Connolly were talking and they were joking with each other. How much longer is all this politeness going to continue? And they were both laughing. Well, we think right before Labor Day it's going to just dissipate. So I think those 2 guys were right on target.
Yeah. Well, John Connolly has been the subject of a lot of scrutiny this week with the support he both received and rejected from the organization Stand for Children. Do you think that he'll continue to be the focus of other candidates, or do you think they're going to start looking at other members of the 12?
Well, I don't know about David. Here's what the race is proceeding on 2 levels. There's the secondary level, which is very hard to read. The nuts and bolts, how organized is everyone, and then there's the impression level. I got to tell you, on the impression level, over the last week, I've gotten more emails, phone calls, or asides from other political operatives, all targeted at one person, John Connolly. And I think that's because everyone considers him, whether they'll admit it or not, the front runner. That raises the question about Marty Walsh, who I think everyone considers, if not the front runner, the number 2, but they're not shooting at him yet. I don't know. What do you think about Walsh?
I think that Walsh is starting to be seen within the campaigns as the leader for that number 2 spot if John Connolly is able to get that one of those 2 spots, that Marty is probably leader for the other. And I think for some of them the question is, who's easier to knock down? John Connolly, who perhaps has broader support, but some of that support is seen as softer, or Marty Walsh, who maybe is not as strong, but those who are with him are very loyal. So I think that you're likely to see different candidates targeting different other candidates, but I think Marty is going to start getting to be more of the focus of that attention.
All right. Well, watch out, Marty, this week. 5 more weeks until Boston's preliminary mayoral election. Keep tuning in here to WGBH News for more weekly webisodes where we talk about the race.